What's going on, everybody? It's Greg from Tales from the Pythian. We are going to do video number 3 in our Curse of Strahd series today. We're going to fix one little omission from the previous video with a module that is also needed for the one of the dependencies for Chris's premades, which is called JB2A. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then we're going to move into looking at some modules that I like to use when I'm prepping games. So these are going to be more utility modules than actual forward player facing modules for the most part. A couple of them will face towards the players, but for the most part, they're just things that make my life easier. And then we're going to look at prepping the Gates of Barovia and possibly Dalvan's corpse, okay? And we'll talk about the whole idea behind what we're going to go for here, or what I think we want to go for here. But and this can always deviate as we move through this, depending on what you guys think and the comments that you guys leave. And I appreciate those that do leave comments. It's cool communicating back and forth with you and answering questions to the best of my ability anyway. So with that all being said, let's get started. So last time around, we were looking at the modules that we needed to add for Chris's premades, because I was talking about how I like to run a highly automated, animated kind of a game. And we kind of went through all of that. The one module that I did not add that wasn't in the interior list, but is listed on the Foundry website, is a module called JB2A. And this is very important because this is where the animations come from. I will say that JB2A has a free module pack that you can go and get, and these things will work. And then they also have a Patreon full version, they call it, that grants access to a much wider selection of animations and all these sorts of things. They do a really great job. While we're doing the animation, we might as well grab all of the animation. So Jack Kerouac's animated spell effects is a free module. So is the cartoon, and so is the Jinker's animated art pack. Those are all free. And like I said, JB2A has a free collection that you can grab off of the Foundry download. So I'd recommend definitely checking those all out. So we're going to activate these 4 modules right here straight out of the gate. We're going to activate, I think I already turned it on when I was doing some testing. We're going to activate Quickscale. See, I already have it on. Yep. So Quickscale. This is going to be one that I use a lot. And this just saves so much time when you're increasing the size of tokens, tiles, all that sort of thing. So we're going to enable Quickscale. We're going to enable. So again, we're going to be talking now about prepping. We're going to be prepping modules. So we're going to enable Tagger. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you understand the power of Tagger combined with Monk's active tile triggers. So we might well be using Tagger out of the gate. We're going to use a module called Token Flip. This is by Ripper. What this allows you to do is put additional images for tokens inside the token, and it creates a button on the token that you can switch between. So I use this functionality to go between top-down tokens and Theater of the Mind tokens without having to have multiples or switch art or anything like this. I can embed these things directly into a single token, and off we go to the races. We're up and running. We're going to do File Picker Plus. This is by Ripper. I believe this one is a paid module. I'm not 100% sure. I'll double check, and I'll put it down in the description whether it is or it is not. I'll start kind of flagging these. I've had some questions about the modules that I use, and are they Patreon subscriptions and this, that, and the other. In all fairness, I do use a handful of, subscribed content in my modules, but they're either A, they make my life easier, or B, they make my players' experience better. And so I use them. So File Picker Plus, usually I can combine that with Dig Down, but we'll omit that for now. I don't want to get too many modules rolling here at one time for you guys. Next, item piles. We're absolutely going to use that today. If you've watched any of my other videos, I use this all the time. It's a great module. we're going to do Game Master Screen. This is a very nice utility module. It's going to put a little button right down here in the corner that is going to pull a drawer up from the bottom that allows us to drop different pieces of information in, like a Game Master screen that we can look at. So journal information, player information, monster NPC information. You can prep a session, put it down there. It's pretty awesome. We're going to do Pyram King's Fey Quest. And we're not going to really get into super detail about what the Fey Quest is in this video, but we're going to use it in this game. We're going to build it in this game. So we're going to need it, and we're going to need it in combination with item piles when we are prepping Davlin's corpse, because we're going to put a plot hook item there for people to find. And then last but certainly not least, newer module out there by Ripper. This is called Simple Quest. This is a really fantastic module. I mean, this alone is worth jumping on his Patreon. I used a good number of Ripper's modules. They're fantastic. So anyway, so we're going to go with JB2A and all of the animated modules that we looked at up here that were all kind of clumped together. These are all the animations. Again, Jack Kerouac's animated spell effects, not required for what we're doing now, not a dependency of anything that we have installed. It's just a free animation pack that I just like to have options. So free Kerouac's animated spell effects cartoon, free. JB2A has a free collection, and Jinker's animated art pack also free. So the art assets are going in there. And then module wise, we're using Token Flip, Tagger, Quickscale, File Picker Plus, Item Piles, Simple Quest, Pyram King's Fey Quest, and then the GM screen. And we're just going to save the module settings and let it reload for us. Sweet. All right. So first things first, let's take a look over at the Gates of Barovia. So let's just jump over here. We'll view the scene. So we get this really cool overview, right? But we're going to move to the front facing scene. Okay. So what I decided to do, since we're incorporating Pyram King's stuff and Magna Carta stuff and, rules is written, all the stuff, you really got to make a choice how you're going to roll at the beginning. So at the beginning, I decided that we would use Pyram King's hook for Gates of Barovia. And basically the deal is the character started in a tavern. It's very similar. It's very similar to one of the hooks in the rules is written, where Aragal comes into the tavern and he drops the coin on the table and delivers a letter. It's kind of similar to that, but no Aragal, no letter, but they do meet Zentori. So anyway, the gist is they meet a Vistani in the inn. He asks them to escort him to meet some other folks where he's going to do a trade for some wine and some gear. Those are Vistani. He goes and you go with them. You meet them at the gate. You party hard. They drug you. You wake up in the morning, all your stuff's gone. They're gone. Wolves are closing in, pushes you through the Gate of Barovia. The adventure starts, right? So I thought the best way to set that up would probably be a theater of the mind, because there's no real combat, or there shouldn't be. We'll have that contingency there in case the players decide that they want to, start killing things out of the gate. But we're going to set up a theater of the mind scene using the Beneos map here as our background. So how do we do it? So back over here in the actors, I'm going to go to the Gates of Barovia, and here's the Vistani wagon. So I'm just going to open this up, and I'm going to go to the prototype token. All right. And then under the appearance, whoops, not under the appearance, right here on the identity, right here we have configure token flip. So the way this works is when I click the button, it's going to open up this little dialog, and you'll see that it says add new face. I'll click that button. We'll add the face, we'll hit update token, and we'll have it as an option, right? So here we go, configure token flip. We're going to add the new face. We're going to browse to the image path. So here in the Curse of Strahd folder, under our tokens, I have vehicles, and I have this handy dandy little wagon theater of the mind deal I did. I used a Midjourney to create the wagon, and then I used Pixlr to do the cutout. Okay, so we'll select that, update the token, we'll close it, and there we go. So now if I drag this wagon out onto my scene and I right click, I've got this button right down here. And if I click on the button, you see I now have options. So if I click this, look at that, it changes the image. So now that I have the correct wagon that I'm looking for. So now we're going to see an example of Quickscale. I need this bigger. So I'm going to use the hotkey for Quickscale. And instead of having to right click and change the size of this thing, I can just, pull the size, tap until I get the size that I want, put it in the location that we want it. And, it can sit right there. So we'll set it right here. There we go. And so we have our wagon. So we can do the same thing for the Vistani. We can come in here, go to the prototype token, configure token flip. We'll add the new, we add the new face. So I have noticed, guys, when I use this, that when you hit the configure token flip button before you add the face, you need to hit update token. I don't know if that's a conflict with another module, or if it's a bug, or if it's simply just something anomalous that happens to only me. But anyway, just the trick that works. So we'll add the new face. And what we're doing here is we have a really cool POG token that comes with these actors. So we need a top-down token. We may not need them, but better to be safe than sorry, right? So I'm just going to go to my root, and I'll go to shared tokens. I use Forgotten Adventure tokens. I'm going to say we're going to use bandits. Let's see. We'll just use... Let's see if we get nothing in the search there. So we're going to have to browse. Let's see what we have under adversaries. Yeah, bandits. There we go. All right. And then let's take a look. Do we have anything colorful? Here we go. We can use this. It's not too threatening. It'll be good. And we just update the token and we close it. And then we have the Vistani, and then we can do Zentori. Again, prototype token, figure token flip, we update it. And then let's add the face. And for him, maybe we find someone that stands out a little bit more. Let's see what we actually have under creatures and humanoid. And let's see what we can find here that might look a little bit more. That works. We'll use that. Perfect. Okay. Groovy. And so now all we do is we're just gonna pull these tokens out, right? And we can upscale these if we need to, if we want them to be a little bit bigger. So maybe we want to say, hey, this is the main guy, and then there are 3 Vistani that are also hanging around, right? And then we can put our player character tokens over here. And essentially that is it for the first scene. We don't really need anything else. We could, if we wanted to, we could come in and additionally go add the campfire in. So we could go to our modules and go down to the JB2A, go into the library. I think it's in generic and fire and campfire, and we might possibly be able to find something in here. Maybe under flame, we might be able to, oops, that's a image. Look at me. I'm all over the place. Here we go. Right. So you could come in here and you could do some additional things if you wanted to, and put a fire and put smoke and all this stuff. But I think that for this scene, as it's going to be a role-playing scene. It really drives the atmosphere across to the players, in my opinion, and it's good to go. So that'll be that. That'll be that's easy peasy. So let's jump back to our token layer and let's go back to our view scene. Let's go back to our regional map, and we have to bring Dalvan's corpse in. So we know that that's release 15. He's kind enough to put that as a tooltip on the tooltip rather, so we know. So we'll go to Mauldin, go to the scenes, let it index really quickly, and then we will do Beneos and COS 15. Okay. Let's import that scene. All 41 entries. All right, here we go. Let this thing process. All right, there we go. So now we should have what we need. If we go back to the token layer and back to the map, we right click here, boom, we are able to view the scene. So now let's handle the item pile. So I did notice that we did not get in the fake quest the Book of Fanes, which I thought we would get. So I pulled down the PDF from Pyram King's site. So let's get the PDF in here. So let's create a journal entry. We'll call it Fanes of Barovia, right? And we're going to not put it in a folder for right now. We're going to create it, and we'll just add the page. Also, Fanes of Barovia. Look at that, double. All right, all kinds of extra stuff, and then we'll make that a PDF, and then we're going to go browse for the PDF. So it's going to be under my root, Curse of Strahd, resources, PDFs. Go to the list view, Fanes of Barovia, save it. There we go. Great player handout, save entry. So if they load the PDF, there they go. Then they can zoom in and all that good stuff. Okay. So Fanes of Barovia, close. Good deal. So then item, right? So we need an item that's going to go into our item pile. So under Dalvan's corpse, we have the letter. So all I did here was create an item called a letter, and I pasted Kolyan Indiravich's letter, the real letter, in here. So we have that item. So that's cool. Close it. We'll create another item. Also, we will make this loot. We will create it, and we will call this one, so the end, we'll call this one a worn book. Right. And then in the description, we're going to grab that journal entry, and we're just going to drop it in there like that and save it. So that's all I did was grabbed it, drag, dropped it, and we'll save it. Now, when they get to a worn book, they can just click on that, and that will open up, and they can read the book. Cool. All right, worn book, and then we'll give it a cool image once we get dig down installed, right? That'll help us find specific images, and we will do that in the next video, because I'm not going to be able to go on prepping without being able to robustly search. So there we go. That's the two items. So now we're going to do an actor. So we're going to create a new actor. Create the actor. We're going to make it an NPC, and we're just going to call it a book and letter. How about that? Let's be creative, guys. Let's be creative. A book and letter. That's what we're just going to call it. Be very simple. They're not going to see the name of it anyway. So we're going to create that actor. The actor sheet's going to pop up. This is really where we want to go ahead and get an image in here that, you know, we're going to end up using. So I'm going to take just a minute and see if I can get super lucky and come into my shared tiles, got adventures, and under my table clutter. No. So we will find a book image. We'll do it very first thing in the next video to show how to do this, but we're going to have to get dig down installed so I can go searching. But the important thing is that we're going to make this an item pile, and I want to predetermine what it's going to look like laying on the ground, right? So that's the whole idea here. Because what will happen in my game is they're going to cursor over it on the ground, and they're going to, an image is going to display somewhere to give them a little tip, right? That is actually something they can pick up. And it's going to be the image that is here on the character sheet. And then the prototype token is going to be the image that's going to actually be on the ground. And we want that to be set up so that when we drag and drop this out, it doesn't just have the mystery man image attached to it. Okay. So we'll walk through the rest of the process. A book and a letter. So right here, this little box, this is our item pile configuration. You've seen me do this before. So we're just going to enable it, go to other settings. It's going to be an item pile. Everything else should be fine here. We're going to update it, and it's going to be ready to go. And then all we're going to do is come back over to our items, and we're going to drag in the letter and the book. Okay. We'll update that pile and leave. And then when we go to this scene, we're going to come down here onto the corpse, and we're going to go back to our actors tab, and this book and letter, we're going to drag it and drop it, right? And it's going to be, you know, laying here off to the side of the body as such. And then when the players double click it, it's going to have the letter, and it's going to have book. Right? And they can pick those up and place them into their inventory, and then they're going to have them. Okay. So that's the gist here. I will do a better job of having images ready to go. I was just trying not to get too many modules. I'm trying not to do too many at one time, I guess. I'm going to end up with a ton. I think I said that in the first video. I'm going to end up with a ton of modules. So, but that's going to be the prep for here. We're also in this item pile. We're going to add a couple of small weapons for them to be able to find, because again, we're using the Pyram King introduction, and when they wake up in the morning, all their stuff's going to be gone. They're only going to have a dagger. So I want to leave, like, I don't know, a short sword and a shield. You know, just something that they can get their hands on, because if they don't have any money and they don't have any weapons, then they're going to have a hard time buying anything, even in Barovia, when they get to Bildraths in the village of Barovia, right? So we want to try to set them up for not failure, but at the same time, we want to give that kind of horror, everything's against us kind of feeling. So that being said, that's where we're going to stop today. So that's going to be the introductions. The Gates of Barovia, we'll do the introduction fly through, which, you know, if you've not seen that, you should check it out. It's super cool. You can read your text while you're showing it. Here, let's look at it actually real quick before we call it a day. Oops, went too far. Here we go. If I go here, we can click on this intro scene, and you know, I'll just check this out, right? Just check this out. A fog pours down the mountains, filling the valley and obscuring the winding path above the foothills. The woods become denser, and you begin to have an uneasy feeling. Ahead looms a high stone wall and large gate which stands open. Night sets in as you approach, and the temperature falls as a chill fills the air. A wagon is stationed near the gate. A small fire blazes nearby. There are 4 men around that fire. Boom, right? I mean, that's cool. That's super cool. And then all of a sudden you're jumping to, you're jumping to the right scene. I'll come back out here. I think I'm going to have a little button to the side that just takes me directly to the scene that I want. Anyway, and yeah, man, I mean, it's fantastic. Great atmosphere. It really sets a tone. It's very immersive, and it's fun and it looks good too. So that's been this week. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about the modules. If you have any questions, I know I didn't go into the greatest of detail with them, and I didn't touch on some of the ones that we imported, but we will get into those next week. But we did talk about token flip. You saw that in action. We talked about Quickscale. You saw that in action. The file picker, you saw that change. Item piles we've talked about before. The fake quests we brought in. The GM screen's down here, right? And we'll get it set up too as we move forward, as well as a simple quest. But I'm Greg. This is Tales from the Pythian. This is our Curse of Strahd build series. If you have any questions, let me know. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and I will talk to you guys next week. Peace.